Alright, hello guys, welcome or welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and with this story, well, it's might be a slightly controversial one, because this is a story about Series 1 of New Who, beginning with Chris Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor and Billie Piper as the first companion in New Who, Rose Tyler. And this is a subject that, this video, I'll be honest, guys, not going to sugarcoat it. This might be a bit of a bumpy ride for the viewer, because the simple fact that the issue that's being discussed here is Doctor Who Series 1. Is it overrated, or is it the greatest season of New Who? Because often that's what Series 1 is described as. It's described as being the season that, like, oh my god, it was the best one of New Who, it can never get that good again, it was downhill from there, or like, you know, the Moffat era can't even begin to do something nearly as good as that season. So is it overhyped, or is it exactly perfect as it is and it's not overhyped at all? My reply back to that concept, that issue, that dilemma, that debate, I actually believe Series 1, please don't hate me, I'm going to explain myself, is very overrated, and it's not even the best season of New Who, and I don't rank it higher than almost any other season in New Who after it, except for possibly Series 2. This is by no means saying it's bad, guys, and if you think it's the best season, guys, you are right to think it's the best season. You are awesome for thinking it's the best season of New Who. Perfectly right. This video that I'm going to give you is going to give a list of my reasons why I just don't feel that way. But, guys, we're both right to feel what we feel. We really are. Please, I'm begging you. If you're going to keep watching this video, I'm going to give you a list of my reasons, and don't hate me before I even give those reasons. If I give my reasons and you still disagree with me, of course you do, because you have a right to disagree with me. But please, don't go hating me just because I feel differently than you. And listen closely to what I'm saying. I don't think Series 1 is terrible. I just don't rank it higher than a lot of the seasons that came after it that people think are not ever nearly as good as those. Alright, so I have a list of reasons why I just don't feel like Series 1 is the best, for many reasons. And I'm going to give them all individually. Is number 1. Series 1 of New Who, there is something, the first weakness I give to New Who is the fact that there's a problem when it comes to, already, villains. When I say villains, here's the problem with Series 1, and this is a problem that is prevalent. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make it very clear. My problems I'm listing with Series 1 are the problems that, I'm listing them because these are things that people have complained about other seasons, saying, oh my god, this season was terrible because it had this going on in it, or it was terrible because it had this going on in it. Those problems that people blame subsequent seasons for, Series 1 had too. This is why I'm even making this video. The reason why I'm making it is because actually I want to address the fact that a lot of the problems that happened in subsequent and following seasons were in Series 1, and Series 1 was the root of the problems when they first began. That's what I'm saying. So my first problem with Series 1 is the villain issue. And here's the villain issue. People think, oh my god, what are you talking about? There were excellent villains. You know, the Daleks, etc. and so forth. And the Utans with the first episode of Rose. Oh my god, that was incredible. Guys, what I mean by villain issue is, and it's something that is very prevalent when it comes to the RTD era, no new villains are created that have lasting iconic power. What I mean by that is, it's important when you're doing a series like Doctor Who, every season, to do your best to try and come up with new villains that have never been seen before, and make them as iconic as the classic villains that came before them. When it comes to Series 1, what new villains were created, especially by the head writer, that could go on to become contenders for, you know, villains that keep on coming back over and over again? Like the Daleks keep coming back, or the Cybermen keep coming back. Villains like that have lasting staying power. Where is it? The Empty Child that Dr. Dances gives us an iconic villain, but think of the villains we're being really given. We given the Utans. The Utans were not created by Russell T Davies. They were created by Robert Holmes in the Third Doctor era. That's not his creation at all. Then you've got, Cassandra, and yes, she appears in New Earth after the end of the world, but here's the thing, Cassandra, honestly, I feel like Cassandra is a knockoff of Syl, the villain from Vengeance on Varos and Mind Warp. She literally is a knockoff version of him. If you look closely, they have similar attributes. They really do, including having servants lug them around everywhere, and also having tanks, which they have to be moisturized with. If you look closely, I think that Cassandra really is that. She's kind of a knockoff. And then we get the, I know Unquiet Dead has some, kind of, cool concepts when it comes to villains, but you can't use those again. You can't. And then we've got the farting aliens, the Slitheen. Now, I know some people love those guys. Some people absolutely hate those guys. And I believe Chris Eccleston, he definitely didn't like the Slitheen. And I think it was even said that was possibly one of the many things that influenced him to leave the show after one season. I'll get to the Slitheen later, but they clearly didn't have staying power either. They did not make it past one season. They really didn't. And then comes, I'm trying to think, you got like creatures like the Long Game, where you got the alien on a ceiling. A ceiling. Not going to have staying power. It's just not. Then you got Father's Day. That was a one-off creature. What villains were we given that were really new villains that could have staying power? You're thinking, oh, it's the first season. Well, that's okay, but here's the problem. It began this concept of villains, there being no new villains that are being created. It's important to create new villains all throughout your era. And if you look at the RTD era, especially, no new villains were ever created that had lasting power as the iconic villains that they inherited from Classic Who. And every single Doctor's era from Classic Who always gave us new villains. The first Doctor era gave us the Daleks and the Cybermen. Became very iconic. The Cybermen were really perfected in the Patrick Troughton era, so you could argue that they're really his monster too, but still. The Patrick Troughton era gave us the Macra, it gave us Ice Warriors, and the Great Intelligence. It probably gave us other ones too that I'm forgetting about. Sorry if I am. Sorry. That's 3 for him. So 2 for Hartnell, 3 for Troughton. Then you've got the Third Doctor era. We get the Utans. We get the Silurians. We also get Centaurans. We get the Master. And there are probably more that I'm just forgetting about right now. But those are 4 major villains that became reoccurring throughout his time. Boom. Then you have the Fourth Doctor era. I'm trying to think if I can remember every single one of them. Sorry if I'm forgetting. But again, it could be iconic and could have staying power. Let's see who we've got. I'm trying to remember who we got. Sutek was a one-offer, but he could come back if you wanted him to. But he was iconic. Also, I'm trying to think of who else. I'm just completely forgetting about. Oh, yes, the Black Guardian. Very much so, the Black Guardian. And see, what else do we have? Even though they're one-offers, they could easily come back because they add to the folklore of the time of the universe. Vampires. Again, that is 3. And God knows I'm definitely forgetting. Oh yeah, Zygons. That is 4. And God knows I'm, again, still forgetting some. I know I'm forgetting some. I'm sorry, guys, for the ones I am definitely forgetting. But Zygons, that is 4. And then you've got the Fifth Doctor era, which gave us the Eternals. And I'm trying to think what else I gave. Oh, the Mara were reoccurring. Technically, the Mara were reoccurring. There was that. And of course, I know I'm forgetting another one that's just slipping out of the back of my brain when it comes to an iconic villain that was created that I'm forgetting about. Either way, okay. To the Sixth Doctor era, we've got the Rani and the Valyard. They could become reoccurring. And the Seventh Doctor era, even though people hate, people really do hate Silver Nemesis, Lady Painfort could come back. She was a great villain. Even if you don't like Silver Nemesis, she was great. And then also, in the greatest show in the galaxy, a completely underrated episode, you've got the Gods of Ragnarok. They're Gods of Ragnarok. Yes, the Doctor defeated them, but they could still find a way to re-enter the universe. We're given villains in each Doctor's era that could become reoccurring or could re-emerge again. Series 1 of New Who, if you look closely, it does not give us really any new villains that could become reoccurring throughout a long stretch of time. They really don't. Villains are important. And they're like trees. If you cut one villain down, like you take another villain from earlier before your time, from Classic Who, like that, you have to create a new villain while you're using all your older villains. If you just keep, using iconic villains from before your time, but not creating a new villain to come up and rise in their place, it's like cutting a tree down, but not planting another one so it can grow in the one you just cut down. Eventually, you're going to have a forest without trees if you keep on using villains from before your time and not creating new villains to go on after your time is done. Doctor Who requires villains to keep on being created over and over again to compensate for the ones you keep using from beforehand. It has to happen. If we don't get a new villain when it comes to the finales, and you can argue it until Series 6. And what happens? No one really cares about the Academy of the Question or Madame Kavarian. We finally got a new villain doing new things, and no one cares about them. And the silence didn't even last very long, because we were trained to always look forward to the Classic Who monster. That when we got a new one, we didn't even care about them. So it's like, that was a problem I had from Series 1, where there already was not an outpour of, new Who villains. There was the rehashing of older ideas. And you think that's being very hard, but it led to a pattern that kind of snowballed. Like I said, the Series 1 has roots of problems that kind of snowballed later on. Okay, so that's my first problem, is villains that are not, no great new villains were created, and it created a pattern, possibly. My first problem. My second problem is it's nostalgia. People say Series 1, I think Series 1 gets a pass or is always considered awesome because that's the story that you guys started out with. That was the series that you guys that introduced you to Doctor Who. I am happy for you. I am so glad for you. But here's the problem, guys. It wasn't for me. Series 1 was not the series that got me into Doctor Who at all. Hold on, I'm thirsty. Sorry, talking a long time. Yeah. Series 1 was not the series that, got me into Doctor Who, so I don't really owe anything to it. But even if it was the series that got me into Doctor Who, it still would not gain any special points for me. Because here's the thing. It may be the first series to the revival, but it's not the first series or season of Doctor Who. There were 6 or 7 seasons before it. Without those 26 or 27 seasons, there would be nothing to revive. So guess what? I'm not going to hold Series 1 better than all those series that came before it, and because I'm not doing that, I'm not going to hold it better off than the ones that come after it. It's not going to get any special passes from me. I'm not going to be like, oh, I owe everything to this season, even if that was the first season of Doctor Who I watched, because that season owes everything to the previous seasons that came before it, from 1963 down to the 80s. Its placement does not hold any special value to me. And then it comes time for the Doctor and the Companion. People hail Ninth Doctor and Rose Tyler as the best. And, they hold them as, quintessential, as well as having a special place in the Who universe because they're the first. Like with Series 1, they're not the first. They're not. William Hartnell down to Sylvester McCoy and including Paul McCann all came before Chris Eccleston. And from Susan all the way down to Ace and including maybe even Grace came before Rose Tyler. They are not the first of anything. So I'm not going to, I can't, people come who say to me, oh, well, we owe everything to Series 1 for giving us Doctor Who. Okay, for me, to be mad at me because I'm not holding Series 1 as the quintessential time, to me, it's like, no, you're being offensive to Classic Who, because you're not giving any credit to the 20-something odd years that thing existed, and it paved the way for what Series 1 became. Series 1 of New Who owes everything to the 26 or 27 seasons that came before it. Everything. So don't come to me and say, oh, you should, of course Series 1 is the best because it had Rose and it had the Ninth Doctor in there, and they began it all. They began nothing. They revived something. But if there had not been a successful long run of Doctor Who before it, there would be nothing to revive. So because they are no better or no higher up in my eyes than the first 8 Doctors or like 28 or 29 companions, they're not going to be any more important to me than the companions who come after them and the Doctors who come after them. No points they gain for me. They're just a Doctor and a companion. And that's how I look at them. So when you strip away the specialness of that concept, I look at the season and I see a season where, again, the series 1 is not bad, but it gets a pass in ways that other people criticize in subsequent seasons. Like series 1 has the episode of Rose, which is Spearhead from Space. It literally is series 3, the third Doctor's opening story, Spearhead from Space, but not as good. It's not. The End of the World, again, New Earth is not Russell T Davies' creation. That was an idea that was rolling around in Classic Who, and he brought New Earth back. And I've said before, I think Cassandra is just a rehashing or redoing a knockoff of Syl from Vengeance on Varos. And to even bring that even more home, in Series 2 will be with New Earth. If you look closely at New Earth is actually kind of a lighter and a happier, a kid-friendly version of Mind Warp from the 6th Doctor's 2nd season. There's a lot of similarities of plot to that, including a companion being taken over by the essence of the villain getting into the companion. Like, literally, it's actually the similar plot line. Really is. Really is. It's nothing against that story, New Earth or anything. It's not my favorite story at all. But I'm just saying, I gotta call it as I see it. I just do. The Unquiet Dead, I like The Unquiet Dead. But pseudo-historical stories were happening in Classic Who very often. So I can't say that's a really original either. It's not. It's just not. Then the Aliens in London and World War, that two-parter. Again, I said it, the Slitheen. Those are, again, villains that people give a lot of credit to, but ultimately they don't work for me. They just don't work. And over time, I kind of see the laziness behind that two-parter. There were some moments there where I'm like, I see how the villain could have outsmarted the hero at this point, or how when the Doctor was trying to escape, all they had to do was just put their hand where the elevator was and keep the elevator doors from closing. There were just some small moments here and there where I'm like, this could have been done better. It just could have been. And then you have Dalek. And this is the thing about Dalek. I mean, I'm going out of order with these episodes. Sorry, guys. I really am. I know I am. But the story of Dalek, it's a story where I know it's hailed as awesome, it's incredible, and I give you this. The director was amazing. It made that Dalek absolutely scary. And the Dalek was scary. But here's the problem with Dalek. Here's the story of Dalek. Think about it. Okay, the Doctor and Rose go to a place where a guy, he has a Dalek chained in his basement. And the Doctor rants at it and allows it to be tortured, understandably so. But then Rose Tyler does something, disobeys the Doctor, and she touches the Dalek to offer its sympathy. And then the plot gets running. The crisis, the real crisis occurred because of something the companion did. So basically, what you're saying is, the plot really wasn't, yes, the Doctor went there and there was a Dalek in the basement, but the plot didn't really jumpstart itself until the companion did something she should not have done. And because of it, all these people died. All these innocent people, guards, got shot and killed because of something the companion did. What's it called when a character is used to get the plot going? A plot device. I'm going to get to that later. Then you have Father's Day. Again, I'm going out of order with these stories. I really am. I admit that. Because we had the Long Game before it, which I know some people love that story. I don't. Alien on a freaking ceiling. There's just something about that story I'm just not crazy about. At all. I know some people love it. I just don't. Then you got also Boomtown, which, except for the Doctor talking to the one Slitheen while they're eating, there's not really anything about that story that's just remarkable to me. At all, except for that time where the Doctor and the Slitheen are talking. That's the only thing that sticks out to me. ever. And then, of course, yeah, we do get Father's Day then, at some point. So I'm going out of order with these. But Father's Day, it's hailed as another great episode. But it's a story where, once again, the companion, how does the plot really get going? Because the companion does something she should not have done against the Doctor's wishes. And people die. Including the Doctor. And the companion's not even the one to bring him back. The father is the one, the father is the real hero of Father's Day. I hope we all know that. He's the hero. Rose's father. But here's the thing with that one. How did the plot get going? Like, what jump-started the problem? What's jump-started the inciting incident? When Rose Tyler saved her father's life, and therefore the problem ensued. Again, what's it called when a character is used to jumpstart the plot into getting it going? A plot device. Then eventually we've got Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways. Bad Wolf, I see what they were going for. It has some great commentary. But for me, Bad Wolf, no, I know it's considered to be a satire on like reality TV, which it kind of was. But it was also, some modern version of Vengeance on Varos to me. But not as timeless. Vengeance on Varos did it already and did it better. I'm not against when, New Who takes from Classic Who. That is fine. I understand why you do that. It makes all the sense in the world to me. I'm just not going to give you that much credit for, not for being better than other seasons that came after you, when what you did in that episode was just taking what someone else did and just reshaping it and representing it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not judging these episodes as being bad because they ripped off Classic Who. No, I understand why they do it. I'm just saying I'm not going to consider you better than other episodes that did not, that were creative. That's all I'm saying. And then Parting of the Ways. Now, I admit there's a lot of greatness, a lot of awesomeness in Parting of the Ways. But then there are things I don't like, again, where the Doctor is just standing there at the end of it, and how's the day get saved? Because the companion conveniently gets possessed by the heart of the TARDIS, or she consumes the vortex, by just sheer, stumbling in and staring into something. And she becomes the savior at the last second, and then goes and saves the Doctor. What's that called at the last minute? The last minute, a character comes in and just magically has his ability to save the day. It's called a Deus Ex Machina, which directly terms to God from Out of the Machine, where a character at the end just wraps everything up together in a neat little bow and saves the day at the last minute in a very whoa, that was very sudden way. That's considered storytelling weakness. We learn in creative writing 101, that is bad storytelling. That is the worst way you could end up a story because it's lazy climactic storytelling. It's what you're not supposed to do. And it's not me being, hard. I mean, that is creative writing 101. If you failed everything else, do not do Deus Ex Machinas. That's what you're trained. You can only do Deus Ex Machinas if you are a neoclassical theater playwright or if you're Oscar Wilde. Outside of those two situations, it's not good writing. And that's what Parting of the Ways is. That flaw that happens at the end of Parting of the Ways, if that happened in another season, later on when people are now shouting how Doctor Who is terrible, guys, it would have been shot to crap. People would have made fun of it. People would have laughed at it, called it stupid. But Series 1 gets a pass because it's Series 1. I'm just not going to give it a pass. I'm going to judge it the way I judge other seasons. And it led to this problem I have with finales now, where they get wrapped up in these the finales always feel like they just are jumping the shark, constantly jumping the shark. They just don't feel right at all usually. Finales just they fall flat. But for me, the problem began with Parting of the Ways, where Rose Tyler was conveniently just consumed the time vortex, and you can say all you want to, that, oh, well, she saw the words Bad Wolf along the way, so it's built up too properly. Seeing the words written along the way is not good build-up. That is lazy build-up. That's what you write to trick people into thinking you got good build-up. It's really not. So there's that. The episodes themselves, I understand why people have such a soft spot for them, because it's your first time watching Doctor Who, but the more I get into Classic Who and the more I watch it, And here's what I did one day. I stopped looking at Series 1 of New Who as the first series of New Who, and I started watching it as another season that came after the Seventh Doctor's last season. So when I got things like Aliens in London, I was thinking to myself, well, this is right around the time the Curse of Fenric, appeared in the previous season. That is such a... When you think about it that way, as if Series 1 came after the Seventh Doctor's last 2 seasons, it just falters in your eyes, and you begin to see it loses its specialness even more. It just does. Because you now have something to compare it to. The way people are constantly comparing subsequent seasons to Series 1 of New Who. And when I started looking at it that way, as a continuation of Classic Who, it just doesn't hold up as strongly as you think it does. Because you have something to compare it to. It just doesn't. And there are things that it would have been criticized for if it happened immediately after the Seventh Doctor's last season, which I'm going to get to presently. And the next complaint I have is, and this is like, before you get mad, just hear out my reasons why this is not the best, nothing that holds Series 1, and it knocks it down for me. For you, you're going to get mad because you're like, oh, what's my favorite part of Series 1? I'm not criticizing it, I'm just saying why it's not actually was a good idea in the long run. My third problem with Series 1, Rose Tyler. Before you get mad, let me explain, it's not what you think it is. Rose Tyler, when she jumps aboard the TARDIS, okay, let's compare it to the first Doctor's story of an unearthly child. An unearthly child, you have the Doctor with his granddaughter Susan, and then you've got Ian and Barbara. So, when they go off and begin to have adventures, that's 4 people in the TARDIS at one time. The Doctor with 3 companions. That's our first introduction to Doctor Who. With Series 1 of New Who, we have the Doctor who, Mickey gets dragged into the story, but he quickly gets bumped off for being a coward, etc. and so forth, because that's always a good message to send. If a person in the heat of the moment makes one mistake, they should be bumped off immediately. End of story. Great message. There's that. And so, but then Mickey gets bumped off immediately. And Rose Tyler rejects him while she's running to the Doctor, like literally pushes Mickey off and runs into the TARDIS with the Doctor, and the Doctor and Rose are going to have adventures together. Here's my problem with that. Again, think of the first Doctor's team. Him with 3 companions. The Doctor in New Who. Doctor, 1 companion. See the difference? There are 3 different companions who do 3 different things, have 3 different functions, and appeal to 3 different types of people, or type of people in the audience in the first Doctor's era, and you've got only 1 companion in the beginning of the 9th Doctor era, and that 1 companion is made to be very, very, very special. Here's why that was the worst thing that they could have done. I know you're thinking, but Rose was the best in Series 1. I admit, I don't think she was the best companion at all. She's not awful, but I don't think she's that great either. I'll get into that later, really. But 3 versus 1, here's why this is better than this. Because 3 companions that have 3 different, appeal to 3 different people in the audience makes Doctor Who and the Doctor himself pluralistic, meaning the Doctor has 3 companions, that's 3 people for him to bond with, and for us as audiences to bond with. So, if 1 companion leaves, we still have the other 2 to bond with, and it's easier for another companion to come in, a new companion, the way Vicky came in after Susan left, and for the audiences to completely be fine with her being there, because we always had a pluralistic view of the companions for the Doctor. Series 1, Rose. Rose Tyler is just 1 person, which means the Doctor from the very beginning appears to be very singular. His tastes are very singular, and before you say that's not true, this is prevalent all throughout Series 1 of New Who, and it continues this way all throughout the RTD era. Because by having Rose Tyler be the sole companion, the sole main companion, all throughout series 1, yes, Mickey sometimes joins, yes, Jack Harkness eventually joins, but they're never given official companion status to me. They're just some people, they're just people the Doctor tolerates every now and again. But Rose is his primary companion. This is not good. Because here's the problem. One, eventually the companion will leave. She will want to leave. So that leads to a problem versus having 3 at one time. A vacuum when they leave. When they leave, it's going to feel like a whirlwind. So when the next companion comes in, naturally, they're not going to be as embraced by the fan base because you trained the audience to be singular in its outlook. Only Rose is perfect. Only Rose is perfect. So the next companion who came in was always going to have to play second fiddle to the companion who came before her. Whereas having 3 companions at one time, you taught the audience to be pluralistic in its view of what the companion is. So to be able to have affections for more than one companion at one time. 3 versus 1. Much better idea when you really stop and think about it, because you need the show to be able to keep functioning and moving on. Which is weird because that's season 1 of Classic Who was the first time Doctor Who began. So it's like they had the perfect method even without having previous examples. Whereas New Who saw the perfect method, and they went with something completely different that actually was not the perfect method in the grand scheme of things. Because it taught the audience to be very singular in its outlook to a perfect companion, as well as it taught the Doctor to be very singular in his outlook to a perfect companion. Because go back and watch series 1, the Doctor is just not, he does not put people on the same equal level as he puts Rose. That's not good. Because it teaches the audience to also encourage favoritism and not pluralism and equality when it comes to looking at the companions equally. Not the best plan in the grand scheme of things. So, there is that. And that's my problem with series 1. It began the hierarchy system. Which, again, if it had been something where, like, instead of the first episode Rose being Rose saying thanks for nothing to Mickey and then running away with the Doctor, if instead the Doctor had chosen to take Mickey and Rose along with him, and then they stayed a couple and enjoyed themselves, and the Doctor just can travel with them, and he was fine with them being a couple, that would have helped in many ways for me. Or, it just would have. Because it would have given the Doctor pluralistic outlooks, but also it would have fixed the next problem I have. I think we're on number 4 or number 5 now, problem 4 or 5. The romantic tension between the Doctor and the companion. And so another reason why I wish that maybe Mickey had been brought along. Because by isolating the very first season of New Who, isolating the Doctor with a female companion who is 18 years old, yes, people have tendency to get mad with the 10th Doctor for becoming romantic, but I feel like I admit it snowballed in the series 2. It did. But series 1, it began that downward spiral to the Doctor having or potentially having a romantic connection with a teenage girl. Now, if you guys are Dr. Rose shippers, that is fine. You are awesome. If you want to ship the Doctor and Rose all you want to, go ahead, do your thing, enjoy yourself. But to me, that wasn't the best idea, especially so early into the series. Not only is it inconsistent with the Doctor's behavior, but it just, again, it's too much too soon, because by having the Doctor have a romantic connection with the very first companion in New Who, you're going to spend every other, companion afterwards, it's going to feel not as important, or lesser in the Doctor's eyes, and it made it even worse by Russell T Davies intentionally doing that in Series 3. So, yeah, there's that for me. The romantic problems going on, because the Doctor first episode, the girl has a boyfriend, and then he invites her to go along with him while the boyfriend is right there. Rose abandons him. The Doctor supports this abandonment. Yes, Mickey did something cowardly, but Mickey was in a very tight situation where he was very afraid. You know, courage is not born courage all the time. Some people are born courageous, but sometimes courage is just grown. You make mistakes. Sometimes in real life you're going to be a coward. You're not a villain. That's just life. You learn to get stronger and braver. That's why I don't hold it against Mickey what happened in the first episode that much. Especially since you could argue Rose Tyler did the exact same thing to the Doctor at the end of Father's Day when the monster was flying towards him, and Rose Tyler had time to go and push him out of the way or save him, especially since all this is happening because of her, but she doesn't. They both didn't help the Doctor when they needed it because they're young. Young people, we can be idiots about things sometimes. We're not evil. We make mistakes. We do. So that's my thing when it comes to that. You know, the Doctor, Rose abandons Mickey in the first episode, so the Doctor goes off with Rose, and we have this very singular relationship. Then, eventually we come across Adam. Eventually we do. And he, again, Rose has a romantic connection with him, and then he gets bumped off in one episode very quickly, and now we're back to the Doctor and Rose again, where the Doctor is the ideal and every other male around him is looking inadequate. Then we get Captain Jack and the Empty Child Doctor Dances. A very great two-parter. I do admit that. I cannot knock that two-parter. It is awesome. And the Doctor always seems to just tolerate Captain Jack. And then in his very last episode, Parting of the Ways, Captain Jack is brought to life, and the Doctor, I don't know if he sensed this and knew it, or the Doctor just didn't care, but the Doctor abandoned Captain Jack at the end of Parting of the Ways on the Dalek ship. He abandoned Captain Jack. And we find out it's because of prejudice. You know, it turns out he was made immortal. And the Doctor was prejudiced towards this. Again, the Doctor was nowhere near him when this happened. So I don't know how he could, I guess he felt it, despite the distance they were from each other. Either way, our last image of the Ninth Doctor, when he's flying away from the Dalek ship with Rose Tyler and his TARDIS, is he abandoned Captain Jack. Because either he didn't care about his body or corpse, or he was prejudiced. Flies off with Rose. All the effort and the help that Captain Jack didn't matter. He was not as important as Rose. And that's our last... First of all, that is disgusting. I mean, I love Chris Eccleston, and I love parts of the Ninth Doctor, but that is disgusting. It really is. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me, but that was such a terrible thing to do. It was. I love the Doctor, but he is not my God. So when he does terrible things, I'm going to call him out on it. I'm just going to. That's the way it is. I love the Ninth Doctor, but he's not my God. I have the right to say that was not right, and I don't agree with that. So that was my last image of him. It's like saying to Rose, you were absolutely fantastic. And I'm supposed to care about this, remembering you just abandoned Jack. Okay. Right. That's right. You'll abandon anybody else, but you won't abandon Rose. Now, I'm fine with him having a affection for Rose and deep connection to Rose, but look what this did. It put Rose higher than all the other companions or potential companions in the season. This led to a hierarchy system. It really did in Series 1 that has continued to haunt Doctor Who to this very day. It really has, because we now regard Rose as the best, and she's always going to be the best, end of story. When you do that, when you set up your first companion to be the best, and you shove it down the people's throats, and therefore everyone believes it, you have damned your series, because you plateaued at an early chance, and therefore every companion after her is trying to play catch up. But they can't play catch up. You can't beat a ghost. You can't compete with a ghost. You just can't, because that's what ghosts are. They loom in the background, they're invincible. And also, go back to the very first Doctor's series. With, the Doctor is an old man, then we've got Susan, who's also another alien. Then we got Ian and Barbara just adds a great touch to the TARDIS team. And Ian, he adds the muscle and another male figure. All four of them do something very different for that dynamic. They really do. But we have 2 aliens and 2 humans on board. That's a very good, dynamic there. With the Time Lord, from the very beginning, we're given the Time Lord with a human girl, and that's it. A human Earthling. That's it. People get mad at the Moffat era for having all human Earthlings, females, for the Doctor's companions. But look where it began. Look at it. We got Rose Tyler, then we got Martha Jones, then Donna Noble. All human female Earthlings. No real change there. So we were given the method. We were given a method, and then we get mad at Moffat because the method became staple at that point, almost. And again, I wish Moffat had decided to have aliens, or decided to have people from different time periods be companions. But look where it all began. Look where it really did. It just did. We're trained the audience to believe Rose Tyler, the character, the type, the archetype that is Rose Tyler, is the best. So naturally, Moffat's going to keep trying to compete with that. That's what I feel. I'm sorry, but that problem really began there with the very beginning, Series 1. The Doctor was very singular in his companion preferences. The first Doctor was pluralistic. Even though it was obligatory companion grouping there, with him capturing them, by the time it was done, it still felt like he was pluralistic in his outlook. That's way better for the longevity of the show than one Doctor, one companion, and she's built as the ideal, and nothing can compare to her. You are shooting the future of your show in the foot that way. I'm amazed Doctor Who is still going on because of that. So there's that. And another thing, well, I'm trying to think of what was my main point, because this video is getting long, so I'm going to cut it off. What is my main last point? Oh, the plot device concept. I know, guys, you are going to hate me for calling Rose Tyler a plot device, but here's the problem. She is. She was the very first plot device when it came to New Who, where she is used as a plot device in Dalek. She is used as a plot device in Father's Day. She is used as a plot device in The Parting of the Ways and a Deus Ex Machina. That is a double offense. So when people get mad at Clara for being a plot device in Series 7, I was one of those people who I was like, what are y'all talking about? You guys were okay with Rose Tyler being a plot device in Series 1. You were. So why are you mad now? That began in Series 1. It really did. Sorry. It just did. I can't take away what the definition of a plot device is. Rose Tyler was sometimes used as a plot device. Just was. Alright, and I have more reasons, but I'm going to give my last reason, just do it that way. And this is where it gets really controversial. Series 1 was problematic for me, because from the very get-go, guys, and please, if you disagree with me, men and women, I'm fine with you disagreeing with me. It's just my personal feelings. Because in the future of New Who, like around the Matt Smith era, the 11th Doctor era, I kept hearing criticism of how Doctor Who is not feminist or anti-feminist or it is sexist towards women. And sometimes the examples that were given, for me as a woman, I thought they were very far-fetched. I thought sometimes they were just not even true. They just weren't. It's not me hating, that's another problem I have. When we, women, we sometimes argue with feminists and say, well, I'm not sure what you're mad about counts as sexist towards women. It sounds like you're picking on men. We automatically get disrespected and we're considered not being feminist. We are feminists, we're just equalist at the same time. We're not going to go out and pick on men. Men have done bad things. There are some men who have done bad things. Yes, there are. But we're not going to damn all of mankind for this. That's not what we want to do. So understand, this next complaint is from a person who just wants to be an equalist. And also is in response to those people in the Moffat era who are constantly attacking Moffat for being sexist towards women. Series 1 for me felt a little bit disrespectful towards men. Like, I kept seeing men be consistently disrespected or cut off because he was anything less than perfect. Like, Mickey made a mistake in the first episode. His girlfriend, who he was devoted to, who he had a relationship with, when she saw him make this one mistake, she pushes him away immediately. Men, like us women, we all make mistakes. When your significant other makes a mistake like that, you can be mad at them, but maybe you shouldn't throw them away so quickly because that just looks disloyal. And it looks like your feelings for them were worthless and they meant nothing. But they get blamed for it. Yeah, Mickey made a mistake, but again, I can't be that mad about it because Rose Tyler made stupid mistakes too. She really did. There's nothing wrong with that. She's young. It's okay. But I'm not going to hold that against Mickey. But Mickey makes one mistake. He gets bumped off really quickly, and then we find out in Aliens in London that Rose Tyler's mom accused him of murdering Rose, and he spent the last God knows how many months ostracized by everyone, had to go to court. His life was ruined. No one wanted to talk to him almost, and no woman wanted to date him because everyone thought he murdered her. Jackie Tyler falsely accused a man, and when she found out that her accusations were erroneous, did she apologize? Go back and watch Aliens in London. No, she doesn't. She still's like, well, I thought that you did kill her, so yeah. And then, when she's running away and hiding, she hides at Mickey's apartment, and she still will not talk to him almost, and she still hates him, practically. She ruined his life. She ruined his life. Why is she still hating on him? He has every right to hate on her, and here she is, letting her stay with him when he was innocent the entire time. Jackie, are you freaking kidding me? Yes, I know your daughter, you thought she was dead, but you were wrong. You falsely accused the wrong man and ruined his life. The second you figure that out, you have no right to hold a grudge anymore. It's not good. That is actually a very terrible thing to do. It really is. And people call Jackie Tyler a deep mom, but I'm like, that's what she just did was bullying. And ultimately, because she's still hating someone, even after she found out she was the one who wronged them. And my problems does not end just with that alone. Then it comes to Father's Day. Oh my God. Guys, okay, Jackie, the way she treated her husband, that was bullying and that was abuse. That was bad. Oh God, I remember watching that episode and just cringing every time she came into the scene. And then I watched it again thinking maybe I overreacted. No, it's that way the entire time. She walks in and she is consistently verbally attacking him. That is abuse. It's just verbal kind. And I know you're thinking, oh, I mean, she's deep. Guys, why are we in a world where just being mean means you're deep? Why are we like that? Why are we like that? I don't get it. And it's verbal abuse. And guys, let me tell you something. If the roles were reversed and Jackie was John and Pete, her husband, was Patricia, it was a woman and a man reverse roles, and John kept screaming at Patricia the way Jackie kept screaming at Pete. Trust me, everyone would have hated John. Everyone would have hated John and thought he was a terrible husband. He was evil in every single way, and it was absolutely terrible. He oppressed women. I bet you that would have been the case. So just because Jackie's a female does not mean I'm going to give her points for that. As a matter of fact, sometimes you talk from personal experience. And I was taught by a woman like Jackie Tyler. Like when I was back in college and I was trying to be a dramatic writer, I was in a theater program, I knew a teacher like her, like Jackie, who she would scream at you every time you made a mistake and you were inadequate. She thought I liked her and I made it appear like I did because I wanted to graduate. I never liked her. I never was proud of her. Even when she offered me things, I was disgusted by her because of how she treated people. She was verbally abusive. She was destructive. And when she gave you things, she did it for vanity. She did it so she could say, look what I did for you. Now you owe me something. So that's why I didn't care about what she gave me, because it was all vanity and she was using us. And it was like, no, you are verbally abusive, and that leads to that leads to a person really having confidence issues. I've been taught by women like Jackie Tyler, those are not strong women. That is abuse right there. It really, really is. I'm not going to give points to Jackie just because she's a fleshed out character. I've met people like Jackie Tyler in real life. They're not good people. So I'm not crazy about Jackie. She had some good sides, but the sides about her I don't like, they're not erased from the sides of her that I do like. They're not. I see the good sides, but I'm still going to see the bad sides. She does not get a pass in that regard. And just because, like me, she has a vagina, I'm not going to give her a pass. Not how this works. There's that. And then we've got Adam. People love how Adam got bumped off really quickly, and I see why it pleases you. But here's a problem. Adam, in his selfishness, made a mistake again. And once again, a man makes a mistake in Series 1, he gets bumped off. Then we get Captain Jack, who the Doctor tolerates, but like he tolerated Adam, but he was never crazy about him. Once he becomes immortal, the Doctor runs away. Series 1 kept giving me these situations where men were kind of expendable. And I can't agree with that. And I know I'm going to get hate from men and women saying that's not what's happening at all. But guys, I can't help but see what I see. And if there were a woman, if the roles were switched and women were being treated like this, I think we'd call them out on Doctor Who out for being sexist. I think we would. So why can't I talk about when men, I think, are being mistreated? Why can't I talk about that? Why am I being terrible for talking about how I think the men deserve better or deserve to be written better in that regard? And even with the Doctor, sometimes I didn't like the way he was written. In the first episode, I get this tall, imposing, powerhouse-looking guy who gets knocked out very easily by an Uton leg. By Uton, like, tentacle. And I've seen the third Doctor wrestle with, Uton or Nestine tentacles. The Doctor just gets swept off his feet in the 9th Doctor era, and he gets knocked out, and Rose has to save him. Just come in and save him. Parting of the ways. Rose Tyler has to get possessed by, the vortex, and she's to save him, become, part, like a goddess in some sort. The Doctor needs to be saved quite often. It's like men are seen as incompetent sometimes. And I'm okay with women saving men. I love that sort of stuff. But I would like more of, in Series 1, men and women being equal together. But it's like Rose was like better, braver than all the other men. I would have preferred it if the men and women were all always on the same level. I would have preferred it if Rose wasn't the only companion. She had a couple other companions with her, so we got a pluralistic nature to it. And it just... Series 1, guys, I see why you love it. There is nothing wrong with you loving it. Go ahead, love Series 1, adore it, worship Series 1 of New Who. But I'm never going to consider it higher than any other season that came after it or before it, except for possibly Series 2. Something about Series 2 I'm not crazy about. There are a couple episodes in it I really love, but aside of 3 episodes or 4 episodes, something about it I just don't like. And I might regard Series 1 possibly better than Series 9, but probably I can't say that yet, because I've only seen Series 9 once. And I didn't like at the time, I didn't like the majority of it, but that could easily change, because you can't watch Doctor Who episodes once, you gotta go back and rewatch them to really, really savor it. So I could probably like Series 9 of New Who, probably a lot more than I remembered liking it. Series 8, I liked the episodes, some of the episodes, but I didn't like the Doctor in it, but so... I gotta go back and rewatch the earlier 12th Doctor era. But right now I just don't regard Series 1 as being any better than the rest of New or Classic Who, except for maybe Series 2. And so that's my video. And if you are still like, oh my god, she hates Series 1, listen to what I've said. I don't regard it as any higher than all the other seasons. I regard it as its equal. So the flaws I've been addressing are flaws I'm addressing because they've been addressed in other seasons of New Who. I believe Series 1, in some ways, had the roots that grew, and because their roots, no one noticed at the time until they began to grow in subsequent seasons, and now people are beginning to see the problems. That's how roots work. You don't see a weed until it begins to grow above the ground sometimes. And that's when they begin to grow in subsequent seasons. But Series 1, I think, had a lot of the root of some of the problems that appeared in later seasons happened or were beginning in Series 1. Again, I'm not saying Series 1 is bad. I understand why people love it in every way, shape, and form. I just think it's no better. I'm going to consider it equal to almost all the other seasons. Stressing the word equal. Equal to all the other seasons, practically. Because there were flaws in Series 1. I'm not going to hold those flaws as sacred and the flaws of the subsequent series as being awful. I see the flaws of both and see them awful, but the virtues of both and see them as awesome. That's how this goes. So thank you guys so much for listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Even if you disagree with me, guys, it's fine. Just don't hate me because I disagree with you. Just please, don't hate me. We're both right. Okay, guys? We're both right. So thank you so much. Hopefully I'll come out with a new video soon. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. You're awesome.